All right. So this is more about Ventus, the black man who was hauled in for meeting the description of a white, was Ukrainian? Ukrainian. Now the police told him that the description they were looking for was a black man. How the fuck do you not know the difference between black and white? We know that cops aren't color, don't we? Except when it comes to the color blue. So there's more to this story, and I'm going to read that to you as well. Let's see if this is it. That's not it. He shared the post, my last video, and he typed on it, even Sean gets it. Right? I'd love to tell you how good this guy was to me, how good he was to us, how many storms that people weathered. Because this guy was like, you know what, you ain't gonna fucking freeze to death. Yeah. Solidarity, homie. Alright, so we're gonna read this shit. We'll go to Facebook and we'll click on. It's a lot more difficult with the telephone, but it still gets the job done. I think I just got lucky and some of my water is now melted enough. Ah, I found it. Not too difficult. All right. I guess it won't let me show the pictures and read the article at the same time, so I'm gonna read the article, and then I'll show you the. Oh, they're at the bottom anyway. That's cool. All right, we're good to go on that. So earlier yesterday, from 6 to 7 p. Hello, CCR. Good afternoon. Nima, who is Ventus Koza. He's a black dude in Boulder, Colorado. We used to make jokes about how there's a charge called black in Boulder. That's because if you're homeless and black, the police got your number and they're coming after you. Ventus was a guy who had an apartment there, and he helped out homeless people. He helped to get us food. He helped us not freeze to death. When police stole our gear, he helped on several occasions to hook us up with blankets and things like that. Um, he, this guy is just, I've known him for probably 5 or 6 years. No, it's been longer than that. Probably about 8 years. This is a black guy who was assaulted by Denver police because he met the description of a white guy. You're going to love this story. All right, so anybody who sees this on Facebook, you probably won't be able to see the live chat on Facebook. You'll have to click on YouTube to see it, but people that are talking on the side here. So earlier yesterday from 6 to 7 p.m., I was almost, he says almost, but when you hear the story, you realize there's no almost to this. I was almost illegally detained by police. They said I matched the description of someone said to been throwing rocks across the street at windows. The description being a black man, the description, this sound correct. The last video, yes, obviously, and I'll show you that again at the end of this video, just in case you didn't see the first one. They said I matched the description of, or further than that. The description being a black man with a plaid shirt, blue jeans, white shoes, and a white cap. I was actually wearing a red burgundy shirt, red burgundy jeans, a yellow cap, and gray and burgundy shoes. It clearly explained he had the wrong guy. He asked for my ID. I asked what I'm being charged with. I didn't even match your description. You have no reason to be here. He then says, you could have changed clothes. Now, how is it that we know that Ventus was not targeted as a homeless person? Armed chair detectives, if you please. Now, don't get me wrong. They profiled him exactly the same way they profiled a homeless person. He then says, you could have changed clothes. I said, I just walked in less than 5 minutes ago. I barely had time to walk upstairs and sit down my tea from 7-Eleven, and there are no other clothes around because they are all bagged for laundry. This is not a reasonable suspicion. He then says, well, I need you to come outside. I ask, am I being legally detained? He says, yes. I say, under what charge and what warrant? He says, I don't need to answer that. Where else have we heard these things? Hell, I've got these things recorded live on video with officers. At this point, I know this is racial profiling, and this visit to my residence is unlawful. Now, you armchair detectives should have already figured out that that was coming based on what was typed. When I attempted to grab my phone, even to call the police sergeant because I felt they were attempting to unlawfully detain me because I did not match the description aside from being black, and they had no warrant and had not proved reasonable suspicion. Meanwhile, they weren't actually looking for a black man. What the fuck? They were looking for a white man who speaks Ukrainian. And I'll show you that. All right. He says, I don't need to answer that. At this point, I know this is racial profiling, and this visit to my residence is unlawful. When I attempted to grab my phone, even to call the police sergeant, because I felt they were attempting to unlawfully detain me because I did not match the description, aside from being black, and they had no warrant and had not proved reasonable suspicion, they opened my door, grabbed me, and attempted to take me outside and continued to try to call for a police sergeant and record what was happening from my phone. They repeatedly tried to remove the phone from my hand, wrestle me to the ground. Where have we seen this on video? We have seen this on video on my YouTube. Right here. This is not the first time. Of course, the other dude's a white guy. You're looking at him. Why do I fight for black rights? Those are my rights too. Mine and yours. Because people wanted to ignore the crimes against me when they happened to me. They are now happening to others who are close to me. They have been happening to people who are close to me since Natalie died. You're about to hear some more of the tactics that I've been speaking out about. That y'all want to pretend that I'm schizophrenic and nuttier than squirrel turds. I am nuttier than squirrel turds, by the way. I'm just not schizophrenic. I'm pissed. How many people does this stuff have to happen to before you believe me? It don't matter. I'm still finishing the story. Let's see. Wrestled me to the ground, causing the injury. Let's see. My phone. They repeatedly tried to remove the phone from my hand, wrestled me to the ground, causing the injury in the photo, staining the watch he gave me in blood, and all I wanted was to not die. I didn't, luckily. Dialed 911 as four officers attempted to arrest me under false suspicion, but wasn't until the actually until they speakerphone, more officers were being dispatched to uh, that they began to stop wrestling to the ground, shoving me into several pieces of furniture, breaking my tripod, and tearing my skin with handcuffs. Several of my constitutional rights were violated, and I will be pursuing a lawsuit. This is almost word for word what I went through. Except it wasn't throwing rocks, was it? Of course, it's almost word for word about one situation out of the many assaults that I took. However, this is about Ventus. All right, this isn't a Black Lives Matter to me. It is about solidarity. It is about looking out for a homie, and it is about keeping my loved one safe, as it has been since day one. I'm also going to show you the pictures. Now he's going to be pursuing a lawsuit. He might be able to actually get a lawsuit. Those of you who are still friends with Darren O'Connor, despite the fact that he's a piece of shit, he might pick up this case because Ventus is not a white guy. Matter of fact, Ventus is darker than Waylon Lolatai. Yeah, it's pretty dark. BLM might pick this up because he lives in a house. And I'm hoping for that too. I may not agree with the narrative, but I know wrong. And what they done to this man was wrong. This thing that happened to him, I've been speaking out of things for years. Speaking out about this stuff happening to people since before I met Natalie. Matter of fact, I've been speaking out about it since before I moved to Boulder. That's not entirely true. The first time I moved to Boulder, I was 4. All right, updated. So the past week, been working on obtaining a lawyer and getting a hold of news stations, only to find out the link I was sent wasn't working. Where else have we heard this? Where else have we heard this? I've got screenshots of mine. Screenshots as evidence. And Ventus, well, obviously he's got the same. I believe Facebook admins are monitoring posts not just to identify protesters, but also to stomp out cases and stories like this. Where have we heard that before? Although slightly different narrative, same situation with Facebook. Goddamn! Every time these cops fuck up and do something like this, they make me look so good. So good. So good. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Please, if everyone could share this post and get the word out that this unlawfulness is real. And it is very real. That's why when Natalie was killed, the police in Boulder County, they were fucking ecstatic that I was there. They were so happy. Why? Because if they hadn't done what they did to me in order to force public opinion against me, in order to have me harmed, the things that they had been doing for days straight and years before that, people would have, holy shit, Sean has been talking about these things for years. Sean has been reporting on these things for years. Sean has been telling us who the predators are and who the victims are. Have I changed? Oh, fuck yeah, I'm an asshole now. When I was nice, I got blown off and my friends were fucking murdered. No, I'm not gonna shut up. Ventus is friends with homeless people. He knows dead homeless people just like I do. Some of them murdered by police. Some of them murdered by the weather. Life is grand with your head in the sand unless you're afraid of the dark, and I got a plan starring Iron Man with me instead of Tony Stark. You need a fucking hero, be a hero. How can you ask somebody else to have your back when you stab them in theirs? I'm going to tell you how many times Ventus has stabbed me in the back. That's right, 0 times. 0 times. This man is a stand-up individual. And you goddamn right I'll go to bat for him. All right, so if anyone has any questions about whether or not it's a real case, please consult the police report number on the back of the card and request a copy online. Got nothing to hide here. Sounds like somebody else I know. Now, the difference between Ventus and I is that right now I'm sharing his post instead of trying to destroy it. Instead of trying to make sure that nobody else sees it and nobody else hears it. We all need a voice. There's another update. Screenshot of the description I apparently matched from the report. Now let's take a look at these pictures. He had to wrap his wrist up. Who else had to do that? Who? Come on, I'm shaking it for you. That's right, I posted that up just yesterday, didn't I? As well as the day before. This is the Boulder Police's MO. But like I said, it's not just Boulder. This shit is nationwide. Colorado just happens to be the worst. Now this picture here is pretty blurry. T. James, is that Mayer? It's kind of blurry, but I can tell that his badge number is 04008. Denver Police Department. All right. Here, I'm going to show that to you. I wasn't trying to hide it from you. It's just really blurry. This is the information that you're looking for that he was just saying to look at. To look it up for yourself because he has nothing to hide. He didn't want to look it up when it came to me, but then again, I'm not a black man. This man right here, yeah, fucking look out for him. Now, he got more fucked up than I did because they put the cuffs over his watch. What other people did they do this exact cuff treatment on? Well, first of all, 11 different people, while I was in Boulder County Jail in January of 2018, 11 different inmates had this exact same treatment. There's blood on the back of his watch. Let's look at us another picture of this. That's how tore up his arm is. That right there. Except he got a picture of his a lot sooner than I was able to get a picture of mine. They refused to take a picture of it. They thought I was guilty. and did whatever they wanted. Now here, that's his busted tripod and his wrist wrapped up. Now he's got more mobility in his wrist than I did at that point in time. I didn't get any actual real mobility in my wrist until after I left Candace's. At Candace's, I was trying to write the best I could. But the thing is, this guy right here, all right? If you guys don't care about my life because I'm not black, this man is. He went through the same treatment. And he's in a house, which means that somebody might actually give a shit enough to actually do something. Now I'm going to show you this here. This is the description of the black man. Can you read that? It says, related, unidentified persons. Suspect. Sex, male. Race, white. Holy shit, it says white. Oh my God, who didn't see that coming? Ethnicity, unknown. Age, 22 to 29 years. Languages spoken, Ukrainian. A white guy speaking Ukrainian? That actually does make sense to me. Does that make sense to you? I'm not being sarcastic. I know a lot of y'all, when I'm being sarcastic, you think I'm being serious. And when I'm being serious, you think I'm sarcastic. I've never met a black man from the Ukraine, ever. That's not to say they don't exist. It's just to say that it's about like finding an albino buffalo. White. Who didn't see that coming? And almost. You typed almost. Does that look like an almost? Does that look like an almost? Is he the only person that the police have done this to? No, they did it to me. They also did it to, and albeit I am still angry with David and Betsy Prowl, because what they did to me was immoral as all hell. But the fact is, Betsy Prowl, a little girl, this little girl is smaller than Natalie and skinnier than Natalie, and they fucked her wrist up too. Y'all not getting this. The police are above the law. They know they're above the law. And after 300 corpses of people that I know, how many of you think that 300 bodies is enough to go to war over? 300 dead, over 300, I'm sorry. Because it was 300 people in a 10-year period. And it's been 5 years since then. 5 years. Now, why is this so important? Why is this so important to me? First of all, because it's a homie. This is a friend. This is someone who accepted me despite the fact that I was different. And I'm not the only one who he took in. I'm not the only person that he fed. I'm not the only person that he clothed. That also shows that this is how they are trained. They aren't trained to go after criminals. They're trained to go after scapegoats. Ventus is a good man. Now, whether or not my word means anything is pretty well fucking arbitrary in this situation because this isn't my word, it's his. Listen to him, please.